Hey, everybody.
Hey.
My mom said I had to call
Let's see. I feel like
because I
maybe we
peed
should
in your pool.
do a show open. Maybe.
I suddenly really want to watch Crank Yankers. I really had a lot of
Crank
fun.
Yankers?
Yeah, remember the puppets?
Yeah.
Jimmy
I love
Kimmel and
Hey.
Adam go, hey, I am Batman.
I like the Jerky Boys. Jerky Boys made me laugh.
Oh, I
Hey,
love the
Jerky.
Hey, Sizzle Chest.
Hey, Sizzle Chest. Come down there. Or
Hey, it's
Roy.
Frank Rizzo.
How about Roy D. Mercer? You remember? Did you ever catch on any of his stuff?
Yeah, but it's been a long time.
He was out of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this is Roy D. Mercer. Listen, I came down to your nursery, and I needed something to make my lawn greener, and you guys sold me some herbicide. I sprayed it all over the lawn, and the lawn's dead. It's dead as a doornail. They're like, herbicide? Sir, we wouldn't recommend that you use herbicide. Are you calling me a liar? You want me to come down there and kick your ass? And I'd be like, herbicide. They're like, sir, you don't put herbicide on it. That kills things. He goes, you don't have to tell me. You look outside right now. So which one of y'all is going to be big enough? I'll come down there and I'm going to whoop your ass. Which one of you? So the guy's like, okay, ask for me.
I've heard this one. Yeah.
I love it. My name is Roy D. Mercer. Back in the old days before the Nipplegate happened with
Janet Jackson.
Yeah. that shut down the FCC, shut down all the fun. Like you thought Howard Stern couldn't get it done. They just kept finding him. They're like, that's fine. Just keep paying the government more money. You could break all the laws.
I'm now on a satellite.
Now that you did it on
Howard's in
national
space.
TV while everyone was watching, they're like, I was like, wah, 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 wah. There goes classic radio.
Now we're freeing the nipple all over the country.
You don't get to play Make Mom Cuss or everything has actors and actresses and it's all pre-planned and bullshit.
Yeah.
I used to love it. Just like people call up and let's call your mom and tell her some stories until she gets upset.
Oh, I love that.
Make Mom Cuss. Mom, I'm pregnant. What? That fucking dirtbag. Like, oh, whoops. Hey, Dave Shelley and Chainsaw here. Got you on the radio. Oh, guys, you're so funny.
Thank God.
That's why you have to. That's why you do it on podcasts and streams.
Hey,
you know what I was thinking? What time is it in Ireland?
I don't know, but it just occurred to me we could prank people.
We can pull up just a map and look and see what time it is. Like, where in the world is it business hours right now?
I don't know, but you could FaceTime somebody and then share it on the screen, and they wouldn't know, would they?
Oh, you could. I just want to get. I want to get just somebody to randomly like join our Zoom from like a foreign country.
Oh,
who speaks English. I don't know. I can't think about how to go about it. Let's find a bar. Let's find a local bar in Hawaii because it's only 6 o'clock in Hawaii.
It's like some cyber cafe. They still have those outside of Germany.
Maybe.
That's where Jason Bourne sends all
breaking news background. What is this?
Dun 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 dun.
That's it.
Let's see the sparks. They need the sparks.
Where are the sparks?
World news.
World news. All right, we're gonna start with that. This is all impromptu, so.
Breaking in Poway, we found a small child playing frisbee with Hunter Biden's laptop.
What? Welcome to the Shelf Help Show. Tonight's Shelf Help beverage is a Frosty Southern Comfort. It is was in the freezer.
Looted Cabernet Franc from Santa Ynez.
Or that. This is redneck wine. It's only 35% alcohol. So
Santa
it's
Ynez, Cowboys live there.
Oh, okay. It's like drinking wine.
Brought to you by Hearsay Happy Hour Anytime Brewing featuring the Mega Pint.
Hmm.
Congratulations, Johnny.
Congratulations. I don't know who's Johnny.
Johnny Depp celebrating his Mega Pint from the court case.
Oh, okay.
I did have a very full glass of wine. I don't know if I'd call it a Mega Pint.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, that guy's so cool. Is it true that you so you had a drug program, like a program at your wedding that spelled out when you were going to do certain drugs? Is that correct? Yeah, that sounds right. And who wrote that program? I did. And who provided the drugs? Oh, that'd be me. Would you say that you have a drug problem? No, got plenty of drugs. So here it says 415 cocaine. he took out of the 100-ounce playbook. 415 cocaine, chartreuse.
That's solid. Chartreuse in the yeah, that's great.
The Dunhill.
Oh, what shit is though? That better been the blue one.
And then here at 445, drop ecstasy, more cocaine, more chartreuse, a grapefruit.
A grapefruit?
Yeah. A grapefruit.
Infused with gin and the grapefruit.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. And did your
like a proper Spanish pirate?
Did your fiance have any concerns with this? Oh no, she joined us. I'm just like, this guy is so brazen. He's like, "What, you want to lie?" Like,
they're just looking for him to lie.
They think they're pulling out an "we got you." You know, it's like, here's a photograph. What do you see on this table?
It's like, I'm a heathen. I don't kick the shit out of my wife. I'm just a heathen.
Yeah, he's like,
she shat in my bed.
Is it true that this little like tin box that you have right there that would hold cocaine? It seems like a lot of cocaine. He's like, oh no, that's not a lot. No, wouldn't really use that. But I mean, I've used it before. But it's because, you don't want to be walking down the street and have a sack of cocaine open up and then leave a trail behind you. I mean, that would really be bad. So, sometimes you put it in other containers. Yeah, I got that one on Pirates.
Well, dude,
I just love it. What are you gonna do?
An acquaintance of mine, the boyfriend
Shit
of a
on my
girl I
bed.
know. But yeah, so that's what you do. He used to work security for Disney, and when he would go do like bodyguard work for Depp, when they would fill pirates over in like fucking India or wherever they were at in that area. And I'm all, wow, they're really worried about somebody coming after Johnny Depp. And they're like, no. Well, because this guy was a martial artist and everything, right? And they're just like, their full-time job is to make sure Johnny Depp doesn't do cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you gotta watch him. We need to get through filming.
Yeah, then they're holding the cocaine for him. And literally, the Disney had contracts. They were like, okay, we can't have him getting sober in the middle of this movie. They literally were like, we knew where he was, and we kept him there.
What was he?
Is it true that Disney had a contract to keep you high?
Imagine like 3 people were making $2,000 a day whose sole job was to make sure you don't do cocaine.
or like you said, when he decided he got a conscience and decided he wanted to come clean and get off of everything, and they're like, no, you can't go through withdrawals now.
Oh, shit.
They had a contract.
I didn't hear that story.
He had to stay on the drugs at least enough to not go into withdrawal until the end of the shoot. Jeez. So they had handlers to make sure
Ledger's lawyer should have been called.
Like, here's just enough narcotics, here's just enough coke. Like, just give him enough.
Cocktail going.
Right. We don't want him coming up with stuff. Because yeah. I'm like, that's pretty cool. That's a rock star lifestyle right there.
Fuck yeah.
Sir, we're here for your cocaine, your morning coke. I don't really feel like it. Oh, it's okay. We're just gonna inject it in you. Oh, that's nice. That's pleasant. Thank you.
Fucking what's the band he was in for a minute? Wasn't he with
20 odd foot of grunt?
Who was in that though? I was trying to remember. Was it one of the guys from Aerosmith in there with them or something? Or was it
No, 20 odd foot of grunt is Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe's band.
Okay,
My
but
bad.
Johnny Depp was a guitar player in a band.
Yes, he is a guitar player. Yes,
Yeah.
he's a musician first. He always has been. I'm starting to channel him right now. I can feel it.
Oh,
Oh,
where's the harmonica?
a musician first, always, always. No, I had to go on tour. You go on tour?
He was like a super band. It was like all these like a like.
Well, it
big
was like
names
River.
in
I
it.
think he and River Phoenix were played together. River's a pussy. Johnny Depp All-Star Band. I don't know if there was such thing, but let's find out.
Hollywood Vampires. Oh, he's been in a few bands, but Hollywood Vampires is the one I'm thinking of. Who's in
And
this?
was formed by Depp, Alice Cooper, and Joe Perry.
Joe Perry, yeah, from Aerosmith, Alice Cooper. Okay.
Things about the music industry is the biggest rockers in the world tend to rub elbows.
Rock City Angels. Who's there?
Johnny Depp performs with his band, the Hollywood Vampires. It's like all stand-ups want to be musicians, all musicians want to be stand-ups. And he was literally a musician who got talked into trying it out for a movie, which you got Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh wow,
Away you go. He was like,
I didn't know that.
it's like, I'm a musician, but I'm auditioning for a.
Yeah, it's like I didn't know until recently. Tom Cruise didn't even go to school for acting. He just grunted
Thomas
his way
Father
in.
Jr.
Huh?
Thomas Maypother.
Is that his real name? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. He didn't go to school for acting. I don't think he went to school for
No.
anything.
Ah,
They got out of high school and did
it's an
like
actual
apps, I think.
like rags to riches story. Little interview I've seen.
Yeah, I thought he had a family member who was in the industry somewhere. I thought Thomas Cruise Maypother the Fourth. Excuse me, Mr. Maypother. July 3rd, 62. That makes him how old? 60 years old, ladies and gentlemen. 60. The dude's 60. He can outstunt everyone. That is a type A personality right there. 100%. One of the highest paid actors. Does he even know how much he makes? He produces everything himself. It's like he's like, look, I've got a certain percentage of the world's value in my name. I'll take another.
Bought a 1/4% of the sun. And
Yeah.
I've been kicking back.
Yeah.
Everyone that owns a solar panel owns me a percentage of what they're paying on their bill.
Yeah. So you want another Jack Reacher? You're gonna have to take another Mission Impossible, and I'm taking 1% of the world.
Wow.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, I'm curious to see that porno. Jack Reach around. Courtesy Strikes Back. Yeah, that'd be great.
So let's see. Risky Business was his first one.
Really?
I've never
Hold
seen
on. Wasn't it All the Right Moves?
it. Cruise began acting in the early 80s, made his breakthrough. Oh, that was his breakthrough, I guess. Yeah, you're right. He wasn't all the right moves. Football player, right? High school.
Mhm.
And what about Taps? Wasn't that
Taps.
before?
Yeah, that was his ensemble cast deal.
Yeah.
Taps might have been first.
So I guess Risky Business when he led one on his own.
Mhm.
That was 83. Then Top Gun in 86.
And then
Color of Money in 86.
yeah, then it was like 9 movies in a row after that where they were like Top Gun, but with
Rain Man
Or
88.
Cars.
Born on the 4th of July 89.
what's up, kiddo?
Yo,
What's going on,
Okay.
monkey?
hello, father. So about half an hour ago, Haley called me and she was like, "Hey, I'm freaking out." And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Because I heard a crash in the hallway and banging in our backyard." And I went, "Okay, grab your keys, leave the house." And she's like, "I'm gonna call mom." And I went, "Okay." So she called mom, I think, and then Riley randomly asked me for mom's phone number. And I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to do.
Give Riley the fucking phone number.
I gave Riley the phone number.
So what are you supposed to do?
I don't know. Did you die?
Not likely.
Okay.
Where's Riley?
Riley is probably at his house.
Where's your mother?
Out at a wedding.
Out. So this is what Haley gets for not wanting to spend time with Dad.
Yeah.
She gets murdered. I don't call her. Get her on the phone. Talk to her.
There was a bump in the night. Is that what I'm hearing?
Hey, look at the pork chops real quick. Tell me if you need to turn off the stove. Parenting. Okay, turn off the heat and just leave them in there closed. Yeah, call her. See what's up. Solving problems is hard. Teenage girl home alone, 7 miles away from her father. Womp, womp, womp. She hears noises. She gets scared.
Call Macaulay Culkin immediately.
Should have come to Dad's house. You could drive to work from here just like you can from your mom's house. That's what you get. I sent an intruder. Hey, do me a favor. Go fuck with my.
Oh fuck!
Go fuck with my daughter. She's
Was
home
it?
alone.
Oh my god! Why can't I feel? Oh, I remember your buddy's name.
John.
No, that's our buddy at this point. Now, who's the other the guy that came over when we were Mr.
Coop?
Family Values? Coop. Oh my god! If Coop is outside the window
Coop.
at Haley's house
That would
right
be
now.
perfect.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was just out here hiking. You know,
He
just
powder. Go scare the shit out of her. He would too. He totally would. Let's see.
does Coop know he's famous on the podcast?
I think so. Your system is 23 days out of date. Okay. I don't know. I don't think I've had this phone for 23 days, but that's Q. Let's go ahead and update it. So, shall we talk about the world? Or are we done
World.
talking about Thomas Mayfather?
Sure. Let's talk about the world.
So, I don't know if this is good or bad, but I've been listening to the Serial Killers podcast for 24 hours now. It's on Spotify on my TV. It's kind of quiet, but I can hear it.
There's like a million podcast documentaries, shows that have to do with serial killers. So what's the point of this? What's this deal? What's it about?
I like the format. They do a 30-minute show. It's tight. They do if they need to do 2 parts or 3 parts, they'll do it, but they'll do
It's like
backstory.
an FBI files kind of thing.
It's that little psychological background and what they understand about how you become that way. And then the
This is
specifics.
Bob and how he got into loving machetes.
Good.
Don't ask his mom for advice. He doesn't anymore. Okay.
It's pretty damn good.
You said it's a podcast.
Yeah, as I'm sitting here in the dark listening to details on some guy who strung up a chick and eviscerated her, 8 parts of her body.
Are you subconsciously worried about your daughter since we just talked about her hearing a bump outside?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No. I'm just thinking like, I wish I was like that. That sounds fun.
Oh, a serial killer?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not into. I have no interest in killing people and eating them and doing deviant things onto their bodies. I don't think I do.
I think all of that's optional.
I mean, I don't know. Can you? You hear about it like these. Like they do it the first time and they're like really sick about it, really upset, and it took them like 9 months to a year to get over it. And then they're like, "Let's do it again." You're
I
like,
don't know. I said I had to testify in a trial with someone who was evaluated with the tendencies of being a serial killer. And that person ended up in that situation after years of longing to commit violence.
Years of what?
Longing to commit violence and then there's a pattern of behavior that leads up to their finally attempting it. And the fact that he went through with it was, thank God the person didn't actually die, but he ended up, let himself get caught, turn himself in and got help. So, which was the one thing when I had to go testify at the trial, I spent time with a psychiatrist that was working the case, who happened to be the psychiatrist that oversaw Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy.
Mark Dietz?
Yeah. It's funny, I couldn't remember his name, but yeah, that was him.
But
But
and that's not from this, just so you know.
I mean, if that sounds like it. I mean, I haven't. This has been since I think I was 20, 21 years old when I
Park
wasn't
dude, he's
testified up in Oregon.
top of the pops. He's like for hire. He's really good forensic psychologist.
But yeah, I think he may have written books about those two cats or whatever. But meeting him, he was kind of walking me through how serious the situation was with my buddy who had been arrested. But he did say, unlike these other killers that he had evaluated, since my buddy had not actually killed the guy, that he felt that his one sign for treatment was that he stopped himself in the middle of the violence and allowed himself to get caught.
Yeah.
So that being said, he compared him a lot to Bundy. So disconcerting all the same.
Well, that took a turn for the serious. I was trying to make light of serial killers. And
you didn't get to the levity part yet.
I don't I'm trying to make a parody of the fact that I don't want to murder anybody, and I think it's unfortunate. Okay. Let's see. He's Newport Beach, California.
Jesus Christ! He moved to my old neighborhood. Jesus Christ! He's really right down the street from where I used to live. That's crazy. I wonder how tall he is. That would definitely give me that for sure. If he's like not that tall.
21 plus years experience.
Yeah, I doubt he puts Bundy and Dahmer on his patient experience.
Yeah, check it out. Let's see. Park, Dietz, Ty, profile, cases. I think he's like the Gloria Allred of forensic psychiatrist. Testified many of the high. Here we go. We'll wiki him. Forensic psychiatrist who's consulted or testified in many of the highest profile U.S. criminal cases, including spousal killer Betty Broderick, mass murderer Jared Lee Loeffner, serial killers Joel Rifkin, Arthur Shawcross, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Kaczynski, Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman, the DC sniper attacks, William Bonin.
Yeah, I don't see Bundy on here though. I don't. Maybe it's not the same guy.
Might not be.
I mean, with all the victims that Dahmer had.
He's you see him interviewing. Have you seen the Iceman Chronicles or the Iceman Cometh?
I've heard of them. Some of the stuff I've seen it. I haven't watched.
Oh my lord! It's Richard Kuklinski, who was basically a murderer for hire, and just they've made a movie of him the last couple of years. But these are just like raw interviews of them trying to kind of figure out like what sort of crazy was this guy. And it's unsettling for this guy just to talk about how he first started murdering and then how he got hired by the mob and was like the biggest mob enforcer.
Wow.
Various ways he would torture people because he enjoyed it. He just was curious to see if you can have somebody be eaten by rats while you're alive, and
what the hell,
and then videotape it, see how long it takes. Just all sorts of nutty stuff. Well, Park Dietz, he comes in on the show. It's like profiles of a madman or something, and he comes in and he tells him what his issues are, like from his childhood and like things that caused it and like what the diagnosis would be. And it gets scary. Like, that like he's in a prison. He's technically safe. Kuklinski is not going to get to him, but he has a moment where he's explaining why he has a penchant for doing horrible things, even though he's like a doting father of his daughters. And he has this moment where he gets upset because of the way that Dietz states something, and he's very calm. He's very calm and very soft-spoken about it. Like, this is this, and this is this, and this is why I say, you know, this is what this means. He has this moment where you see he upsets Kuklinski, and you see the evil take over on his face, and it's a visceral reaction because he's trying to be cordial, he's trying to be friendly, he's not upset, he's not this, but he's like, matter of fact, like, if I get upset, if you piss me off, it's over. Like, that has always been how I have worked. I will go to the ends of the earth to destroy you. I will end your life, and that's how I'm wired. So he has this moment where Dietz ticks him off, and you see like the darkness. It's like, oh, run, Park, run, run. You fucking broke him. And then he kind of comes back and he kind of gets a hold of himself and he goes, Park goes, do you need a moment? And he goes, no, I'm all right. You made me mad. He goes, I saw that. He goes, you pissed me off. Yeah, you got me good. Because I saw that. He didn't apologize, didn't back away from it. And he goes, this is rare. This is rare. It's gonna be the first time that somebody's done that and they walked away. So it's a good day for everybody. And you're just like, fuck.
Imagine, it's one thing to hear someone talk shit to you like that. You're getting that shit talked to you from that guy.
Kuklinski's like 6'6".
He's huge. Yeah.
He's this monster of a man. He's like, you can tell, like, he's like, yes, all right. Well, need to change my diaper, please.
Oh, fuck.
Like, come on. Can't imagine. I don't know how cops get confessions from people. Like,
I think people that actually have guilt and regret what they did, or
well, but you know, like,
I want to.
I know there's a way to do it, and it's systematic, but they play a game to get the person to open up. You know, it's I forget the name of the method, but you know, you get really close to them and you take up their space when you want them to confide in you. You actually get closer to them. Like, there's all this psychological shit that they do with these people that they're like, well, strategy. They murder their family. We need them to admit it. And then they, like, you know, good cop, bad cop sort of thing. They befriend them. They, you know, they try to unburden them. But you watch these things, I'm like, I can't imagine that being your job, is to go in and for like 4 hours, like, kind of like befriend this.
Let's play mental chess with a lunatic.
These horrible people who've done these horrible things to get them to think that you're on their side, so they'll tell you the truth. I don't want people to think that you're just a monster. You understand that? I know you're not. You're a very likable person. I mean, I've been in here with you for a handful. I know you're smart. You know, and
I gotta think there's a lot of, like, people that are nurses, you know, that have to see that pain that people go through every day. You know, I can imagine people that do, like, the job like you're talking about really do see these monsters of these human beings, but as people that are suffering, and they are gonna help them in some way. Like, how many documentary have you seen, or what was the one movie with Capote, with Truman Capote, how he wrote that book?
In Cold Blood.
Yeah, and where these therapists or writers or whomever that's empathetic or whatever to these people.
Yeah, well, and he as the author becomes.
Yeah. No, it ruined him completely. But it's just like, but they just establish these friendships and, you know, these companionships that last for sometimes decades of keeping in touch. And it's just clearly there's some kind of, you know, fuck.
What is it with the human condition, though, that there are like these singular moments that you would think would solely define the person who did it, right? They say that they're not a serial killer. They say they're not, you know, they're not a deviant in general, but they're caught up in a situation and they do the most horrific thing because whatever the case may be, you're running with the wrong person. You know, you guys are desperate and poor. You got no money, you got no food. you wind up slaughtering a family of fucking 6. And you go like, okay, there's nothing redeemable left in this human being the moment you do something like that. You know, like you lost your mind or you didn't lose your mind and you purposely went through those motions and made this happen. You went from room to room to room and you did these horrible things.
Yeah, that's just like that movie. And those guys did those things because they didn't want to be caught. They didn't have to kill everybody. They
Right.
could have stopped after that first accident. And just,
Then you go like, okay, well, what if I was in that situation? Like, put yourself in that situation. What does that feel like? What does that first horrible act open up to the rest of what, you know, to your brain? How do the means justify the ends all of a sudden? How does a rational outcome in your brain when you've committed capital murder on an innocent person suddenly become, well, it wouldn't be any worse if I murdered the rest of the family because at least they wouldn't suffer, or at least we're not going to get caught, or at least we'll be able to move on. Like, imagine, and then they go like, yeah, I just fell in love with him and I married him in prison.
oh, those nut jobs, Jesus!
And you're like, wait, what?
They should be locked up too. At least,
Or like Truman Capote, like he became an advocate and he wanted them to be okay. But you have people who befriend them, and you're like,
yeah,
who's
but
this?
look how long it took him to get the truth out of these guys. Then once he did, it devastated him. He was so hoping that there was going to be this troubled childhood or this period of abuse that made these guys into monsters, and it turns out it wasn't that way. They had a couple things here and there like everybody does, but in the end there was no excuse, and he wasted fucking however many years on writing this book, and it became everything his career would have ever hoped it could have been, and it destroyed his soul, his empathy for fucking demons, and their desperation to hang on to him because no one else gave them a chance to not be demons, and that's why they hung on to him, and that's why they misled him, because they thought maybe if he wrote a book that lied for them, they'd get away with it.
And you find out,
still desperately trying to get out.
then you find out psychopath is maybe always a psychopath. You know, it's like when you anthropomorphize animals, and you put human qualities on an animal. You, oh, look, that dog.
Oh my God, it bit you? Who would have thought?
But look, the dog cares. Look how sweet it is.
You
Look,
know,
he's
you
loving
bought
you right now.
It's a wolf. You know, it's a wolf, right?
Right. And you're like, well, you know, I mean, I know the pit bull has killed 3 people, but it's because people aren't treating them right. And you're like, I mean, look at his face. Look at that face. He just wants love. You're like, no. He just needs to be dead. We need to kill your animal, and maybe you. Do you think that can you attribute human qualities to a psychopath that doesn't deserve them and cause more problems than not?
Sure. I mean, we see that in all kinds of cases when criminals get let out prematurely because they faked it long enough, and then they go kill somebody right away. And it's just,
and they act shocked. They're like, but they were a model prisoner.
Can't believe it.
Well, what else?
What
else
they
are
were
gonna
convicted for?
Right.
But you know, those things. I think there's certain things where I think legitimate psychopaths are pretty rare. However, I think the more you put someone into a life circumstance where they have less and less to all of a sudden nothing to lose, you know, yeah, I think those guys did the math probably too quickly in that Capote movie, where they're like, nothing to lose, take out the family. Clearly wasn't the case, but you know, they jumped to the deep end of the pool. But you know, you lock somebody up and put them on death row, perhaps they'll say fucking anything, you know, just to better their situation, even if it's staying in prison for a little longer versus getting the needle. So, I mean, but again, Capote's still a good example. How long it took for him to get the truth out of those guys.
Yeah.
And then him being a decent human being is why it broke him. I mean,
Psychopathy is
yeah.
approximately 70% of the population is estimated to have no psychopathic traits whatsoever. The remaining 30% have low, medium, or high levels of psychopathy.
And then out of that 30, what's the breakdown of learned behavior versus inherent? How the verbiage represents that?
It says it's a common disorder. It's twice as common as schizophrenia, anorexia, bipolar. It is equally common as bulimia, panic disorder, and autism. The only mental disorders significantly more common than psychopathy are substance abuse or dependence, depression, post-traumatic stress. It is a spectrum disorder.
Would have all of those. But I mean, besides, what if people that are not CEOs? How much smaller does the number get?
Yeah, that's a 1%. It's a 1% club. It really is.
Oh, okay. And then if you were to take people that got convicted during the Me Too movement, look at it! Look at it!
It is a spectrum disorder. You're like, listen, I'm on the psychopathy spectrum, okay? I'm psychopath divergent. No? Are you neurotypical?
All right, I'm on the spectrum. I can't quite pay attention for too long right now. I'm busy curb stomping this guy. Shit. I guess I acknowledged I knew what I was doing.
You have a sign around your neck?
Spoke about it out loud.
You walk around handing out psychopathy cards, and hopefully somebody give you $5.
Hi, I am a picture wheel of the spectrum. Why isn't it rainbows? Why is it all different shades of gray?
How's the meat?
I can try to get.
Did you get the giant one on the bottom? Oh no, okay. Cool. Right on. Enjoy. There's no medical screening test for psychopathy. It cannot be assessed using a brain scan, blood test, genetic, or other medical test. That's correct. It can be done with a psychopath test, though.
Yeah, but a psychopath would lie on a self-analysis test.
Every now and then,
why do you think they look for the classic B-type personalities when you do your behavioral screening for all those corporate jobs? Increased ratio of psychopaths in the A-type personality. God, they're efficient. Turnover is rampant.
Is it the love of my life? She'll just send me a text. Am I a psychopath? I said, sweetheart, if you were, you wouldn't ask me that question.
Not with her friends. I sent her a video I found yesterday. You know how when we see these pictures of her friends, how they're all going out and dancing and stuff.
Yeah.
I found this. I was on a death scroll of TikTok reels on Instagram, and it was like, clearly it was a bunch of girls that were out like at some saloon bar where they have the bull like in the middle of the room or whatever, except they remove the bull and it's just a giant dick and balls like the size of a big bull, and this chick's just hanging on like this beneath the shaft as it's bucking around.
That's awesome.
I sent it to Becca. I'm all, I think these are your friends.
She's like, I'll ride that dick. Oh, baby, you're so sweet. You make me proud when you talk dirty to the public.
Attention.
I know we're doing a quick dip down neurodivergent, and then because it's relevant to what's going on in the world, then we'll bring psychopathy back to what the fuck is going on with our food supply. What is going on with Putin?
I thought you were going to transition right into Hunter Biden. Okay.
It'll be perfect. So automatically it pops up on idrlabs.com personality style test. This test deals with negative psychology. If you decide to fill it out, you may get a negative description of your personality that can possibly upset you. Use at your own risk. Furthermore, note that this test provides information on personality styles for educational purposes only. The information is provided as is and should not be construed to constitute professional services or warranties of any kind.
Oh my God, this is like a warning that was written for the Iceman. You were just describing, if Park's gonna piss you off, don't take this test.
So
this is that Jungian archetype. Okay, cool.
Yes, all these tests are all the tests here. They are based on science. They are reproducible. There's some goof tests that they have on here. You know, like what Star Wars character are you or whatever. Yeah. But for the most part, it's It's all about personality disorders and or Jungian, big five personality
The
traits.
older
How
I
you
get, I'm less likely to be Han Solo in the tests. I hate it now.
you're less likely to be.
Yeah. When I was like, 10 years ago or earlier, I was always Han Solo, like without trying. Just yeah. Now I'm always Obi-Wan or Yoda now.
Oh, nice. A little more wise. So these are the the personality types,
Riggs Myers shit, yeah.
and then
There's mine. That's the one I've gotten. I get the one I get all the time. They're the ENFP.
yeah, I'm glad you like it. So these are tests.
Fuck you, privileged test.
Check this out. There's a lot.
I should
Antagonism,
take the antagonism test right after that.
ESM style, dark.
Oh my god, the poo test. Who doesn't want to take that?
Oh, well, the poo test, they break up those four main characters, I think, into
The
like
Taoist archetypes,
psychopathy.
right?
It's not like Jungian types, it's like disorders.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes. There's a really, on an interesting and sincere level, there's a really cool book called The Tao of Poo.
Yes, I know.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I love that. That's a good book.
So
I feel
this
like
one
we've
is
talked about that before now.
professors, Dr. Sarah Shea, MD, Kevin Gordon, MD, and associates studied the characters of Winnie the Pooh and concluded that each of them could be linked to a definite psychiatric diagnosis. Which Winnie the Pooh character do you resemble? For each of the following statements, indicate how well it applies to you below. They're not wrong. They are not wrong.
I've taken this one a few times. That's one that was pretty consistent. I was kind of the same.
You're like, you're super neurotic. So it comes out as like, you're a pedophile. You're like, wait, what?
No, that
There was
was
nothing
that
that
would
asked
definitely be in that test that pisses you off. I kind of want to take
There
it.
is nothing that asked me any
The
questions.
dark core test. What's that?
Yeah.
I actually
flip your shit. You start tearing the room apart. I'm not a goddamn pedophile psychopath. And you're like, oh, maybe that was the last the last question they needed.
Oh, there it is. What's it say? It went to break you. That's it. You have to buy a new laptop afterwards. Okay.
Right.
I've got this book. I haven't looked at it for a long time. It's called The Dark Horoscope, and it gives you like the good and the best and worst case scenarios and careers, etc., of your personality type. And it starts out like a one-liner that sounds kind of serious, and everything else is just a different form of talking shit to you about your astrological sign. So I think it's hilarious.
So this is 27 questions that will determine what degree of psychopathy you might have.
Oh, let's do it. I want to do this.
All right. So
Here, let's do yours, because then you can just click away and then you just ask me and we'll do it live on the show. Is that cool? Then it's participatory.
so you want me to ask and answer for myself?
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it out loud. And then the next one you'll ask me and I'll just tell you and you'll click.
Okay. Most of my problems are due to the fact that other people don't understand me. So it's those a 1 through 5 scale. 1 being mostly disagree the
What
most.
if you
and
don't
5
care if
the most.
people understand you?
What?
I said, what if you don't care if people understand? Oh,
Yeah, well, to me that'd be like, I don't care.
you don't really have a lot of problems because don't care.
I don't need
That's-
anyone to understand me in order for me to have problems in my life. So I highly disagree. Making a lot of money is one of my most important goals.
Oh, I
No.
love the fluidity of the test. Like it's not okay, cool.
So for me, I'd right in the middle.
Cool.
I'd like to make enough money to be paying my bills, and that's it. Or if I could dream beyond that, that'd be great. But it's never been one of my goals. I don't want to be poor. What about you?
Yeah. No, same. I saw that
Mhm.
whatever the fucking study was, where it's like the level of happiness in the United States after $70,000 a year doesn't improve.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's like
then after that, and once your bills are paid, you have to
Yeah.
actually start making good decisions.
Right.
Otherwise, you just
right. If you have
You're
all
gonna
the freedom
find out.
to not be burdened by life struggles, then you better not fuck up. So I enjoy manipulating other people's feelings. I mean, I've
Mm.
done it at times in my life, probably when I was young and vicious. But
Is it a hobby?
like it's not a hobby. It's nothing. It's not like not. It's nothing I live now or anything. But I mean, I've recognized when I've done it and been like, okay.
Okay, but the question is, do you enjoy it? It doesn't have to be a life
I
evaluation.
wouldn't say actively. I wouldn't say disagree.
Cool.
I'm often bored. I'm gonna have to put highly disagree. I am never bored.
Just
I've
self-storage.
always got shit to do. What about you?
I
Yeah.
concur. Same.
People who get ripped off usually deserve it. I don't think they deserve it. I think people who get ripped off just because they're preyed upon by people who are quicker than they are. That's not fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't say deserve. I would say if there's any factor in there, it's just because they didn't take responsibility for defending themselves. I don't think that has anything to do with deserve. But
They may not even have the capacity though.
well,
No.
capacity is different. I mean, if you don't have the will to, or you only have 1 foot, or whatever.
I think people get ripped
You-
off
you
because
got-
the average IQ
Well,
is
I'm
100.
saying, I guess I'm going like getting taken advantage of, kind of thing. It's one of the things I always, my daughters, I was trying to instill in them that the way you want to ensure the fact that you get to remain a nice person and get to help others by making sure you're just prepared to blow someone else off the fucking runway if they try to attack you or to do that.
Nice.
I know I'm exaggerating a lot there, but martial arts
I know what you
is
mean.
discipline for,
Sometimes you have to paint a bold narrative in order for your children to remember the point.
yeah. But I mean, they've gotten that physical confidence from those things. And also it's that confidence comes from the ability to defend yourself without having to hurt someone else. So it's a good thing. I definitely agree with that. No one ever wins a fight philosophy.
Excuse me. I sometimes, these vapes are horrible. I should just smoke a cigar. I sometimes find myself
Yeah, I thought I saw
admiring.
you puff something.
Yeah, it was a vape. I sometimes find myself admiring a really clever scam. I would say agree.
Yeah.
I would say probably highly agree. I like
Never
to.
like a part of it. Like a joke
Right.
would be hilarious, but like an actual scam, no. But if I heard about it, I'm all, ah.
That's crazy. Like,
I know.
because I don't think that
Mhm.
deeply, or I don't think that thoroughly into trying to manipulate an outcome. So when I can hear about it, read about it, or even if it's just portrayed in a movie,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Catch me if you can. Yeah, that's good.
I'm like, yeah, that's pretty dope.
Makes me feel better
Love-
about my paranoia.
Love is overrated. Agree? Disagree? I agree.
I don't agree. I don't think it's overrated.
Disagree. I think love is love. It serves a purpose, and yeah. I don't think it's overrated. Even when you lose it, it's still not overrated.
Yeah.
I feel justified doing whatever I can to succeed.
No, I don't.
I don't. I wouldn't do it on the backs of somebody else's failure. I wouldn't, or cause somebody to fail.
I have a hard time doing what I need to do to succeed if it means I'm taking it away from someone.
Right.
I don't
Same.
like that. I mean,
Conscience.
even in a competitive sense, I'll compete less if I want that person to have the prize more than me. Like, I'm not going to take something from someone that I don't really want. I've had bosses that I think of when I think of that, where I'm just like, please keep feeding your children. Just
Right.
leave me alone. Let me do my shit.
I tell other people what they want to hear, so they will do what I want them to do. No, it sounds too manipulative.
I have, well,
Wait,
I feel like
tell-
I do this a lot, but not like I'm making up things, but like, for
But-
example, when I want people to not be defensive.
Yeah.
And to move past maybe a mistake they made. Think of like employees like this. So I won't overly criticize them, or I'll empathize versus berating someone. Maybe I think I might be in the middle on that.
I think you're being a tactful leader. And before I did programming, development stuff. I led people. I'm a natural. I'm good at it. But I could find the right thing for that person in order to get them to do what I needed them to do. But it was not a manipulation. It was finding their language and then speaking their language to them, so then they can get over whatever issues that they were putting in front of them. Because I'm like, let's eliminate the variables. You know, we need XYZ to happen. If you want XYZ to happen, you're getting in your own way. So let me give you a perspective that you can see how to get out of your own way. But to me, that's just called leadership.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
It also, I think, helps build trust when you're in a leadership position, when they know that your ego isn't attached to having to pronounce in a pronounced way, be right, or tell them that they're wrong. Like,
Right.
this employee misbehaved today and I'm going to show them,
Right.
I
Yeah, people like that
hate
are
that shit.
garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
they're like,
immature.
don't tell people to take out the trash just because you can.
Oh God, that shit.
If you don't have anything
When
to
you-
do,
yeah.
or you run out of things to say, then why don't you find a way to enrich the people around you instead of being a dictator?
For sure.
Hey, we need some dishes done. Get over there and you do. That's not my job. I don't give a fuck. You're gonna question me? Like, ugh, tyrants.
Yeah.
Cheating.
People that behave like that, I would go, you know what? I'm sure we could find a very affordable thick mat that I could bounce you off over and over again.
Cheating isn't justified because it's unfair to others.
I concur.
Cheating isn't justified because it's unfair to others. I mean, I guess it's a logical statement.
It's kind of unfair to everybody. It's unfair to yourself too.
Is it cheating if just because you figured out the angle? Or is it only cheating if you were
No,
told not to
that's-
use that angle?
That's strategy.
Right?
Cheating is cheating. I mean, it's like, we'll assume this is like a spelling test. or
It's
something.
to me like cheating.
You write the
is-
answers on your forearm while you're taking a test. That's a little different.
That's cheating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to like cheating is equal to theft. If you're gonna steal from somebody, then we have an issue. If it's because you were more creative than the other person, then that's good for you. We want people to think like that.
Yeah, be competitive. I mean, cream should still rise to the top. That's not cheating.
All right, so we'll see here. I quickly lose interest in the tasks I start. Agree? Disagree?
Highly disagree.
Highly disagree?
Yeah. I mean, for
I'm
me,
probably disagree a little bit. I will lose interest. I wish I would. I think my issue is that I'll start a task, and then as I'm working on that task, which is going to lead to a goal of some sort,
Mhm.
then I start to flesh out and I start to see all the other avenues that need to be taken also, and I want to take them simultaneously. And I'm like, oh, and then it opens up entire new ideas that weren't even related to the task that I was doing. I'm like, God, I wish I can just hire somebody to finish this task, because now I see 10 tasks down the road. I see where the end is, and it's going to be fucking glorious. And I'm pretty sure I'm wasting my time on this shit. There's probably a better way that I just don't understand yet on how to get to that end goal that I see. So my brain works in that way. So
I get some of that sometimes, like that sabotage or self-defeatist kind of stuff sometimes. If I'm working on a project or a goal that I'm really excited about,
Mhm.
and I know I'm close to like I can finish it,
Yeah.
I'll like drag it out because I'm just enjoying like working on it and being immersed in it. And I like to think about this when I think about like writing this novel I've been working on. And it's like, I finished all the research. I got all the excuses out of the way. Like I did all these different chapters, and as one, kind of like what you were saying, one venue led into another, all these different sources of information that became fascinating to study.
Yeah.
The homework's done. I'm good to go to start putting more pen to paper kind of stuff. And I'm like, Gavin, I just want to keep doing this part. The writing part, the writing part was easy before, but just, I got to this point of it. It was fascinating.
You start character development. You start understanding motivations and backgrounds and history, and you're like, man,
I'm like, how do I sum all this up?
I want to make dossiers on characters that no one will ever know about. I want
totally, absolutely.
I want everything documented.
One line in the second novel that relates to this 40-page packet I built. Yeah, and I'm the only one that's gonna know why it's cool. Yeah, and they're gonna make a movie out of this. And they're gonna cut that part out completely.
That's fun.
I'm gonna be that one actor that played Luke's best friend in Star Wars with no fucking screen time for the next 30 years.
Right.
They fucking cut me out. He was in that movie for over 25 minutes. Bye, Biggs.
Yeah. Well, then you could sell your stuff for like $40 billion at some point, right? You got all that amount of
his action figure.
When I get frustrated, I get very angry very quickly.
Nah.
Middle of the road?
Yeah, I would go even one to the left. I don't do it has to be offensive. There has to be a lack of respect involved for me to get angry over literally anything. Like someone could hit me and I won't even get angry. I'm just like, well, first I'm impressed. I'm like, dude, you landed it. But clearly I've never been hit hard enough. But besides that, yeah. What do you think?
I think I concur with you. Hannah.
What? 2003, police were scrambling to find the serial killer responsible for the deaths of the They looked for similarities between the victims.
It's John.
But as new details emerged in the case, they were stumped.
Weird. Just trying to. What happened with your sister? Was she abducted by aliens?
No, she's fine.
No more after that. Good night. Stick.
She was just freaking out.
Oh. All right. Thanks for following up. No one's dead. All right. What's right is whatever I can get away with. Agree, disagree, in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Hmm?
Right in the middle.
I let others worry about so-called higher values. My main concern is to get what I want.
God, I wish I could agree with this, but I'm probably all the way to the left.
Yeah, same. Fucking values. My main purpose in life is getting as many good things as I can.
No hoarding at my house.
I find that I am able to pursue one goal for a long time.
Yes, I concur. I'll go 3/4 of mine for me.
Yeah, same. I can play the long game. I've never been in trouble with the law.
I guess I got to stay right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Well, I guess if I can think of all the crap that I did when I was a child. You know, I've been in back of cop cars and yeah. Hey,
I don't have a felony.
but yeah, but none of it was yeah. It was all misdemeanor shit.
I love how this comes up. We're both like, my wrist hurt. No, I mean I'm fine. It was just a ticket.
I make a point of trying not to hurt others in pursuit of my goals.
This is true. Yeah, I go 3/4 if that's where you're going. If that's what you're about to look at. I agree. think we're the same fucking person, dude.
I know. If I were trying very hard to sell something, I wouldn't lie to get my way. I agree.
I agree as well.
I can sell based on need. I can sell based on value.
Yeah.
I can sell based on things that are tangible and real. Lying doesn't fix anything. They're gonna figure it out.
I hate if I feel like a car salesman, something's wrong.
Right. It's not me selling you. I used to say I'm not a salesperson. I'm a professional mind maker upper.
I don't even think that's proper grammar.
I know.
I realize though the power of ego. I in one of my many simultaneous jobs when I lived in Denver, I sold high-end furniture at this retail store at the mall. And I remember I still want this chair to this day. Like it's on my own personal wish list, but there was this leather buster chair I thought was incredible. It was like over $2,000 for this chair, and like another like $800 for the ottoman. And I was talking to this couple about it and telling them all the specs on it and so on and all. But really, when I stopped them and said, because they paused when I told them the price, and when I went, hey, not to be like that guy, if this isn't your budget, I don't want to press you. I want this to be a thing. And they're like, no, we got this. And I'm just like, they were almost like they wanted to make sure that I felt they could afford it. And that's the way I could clearly see they couldn't afford it.
Right.
And they went home and they took out a loan and they came back and bought this fucking chair. I actually had like 3 different approaches where I showed them all, yo, no, don't go into debt. This is just a fucking chair, man. Right. And I'm like, all right. Thanks for your money.
That chair satisfies something in them, even for a little while.
In my heart, at least I know it's a badass chair because to this day I still fucking want it. And that was 20 years ago. And it turns out the manufacturer is like a block from my apartment where I live now, which is weird because that's many states away where I used to sell that shit. But weird how people make their choices.
Question 20. I feel bad when my words or actions cause someone else emotional pain.
I don't know. I'm in the middle. If I'm honest with someone and it hurts them, like, I think I'd rather be honest.
If it's truthful, I'm okay with it. I'm a Sagittarius. I can't help it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to throw fucking F-bombs at someone or, tell them they're a piece of shit or something like that. It's like, I don't want to do that.
Not all truths need to be told, right? So
but even if you are a piece of shit, you'll probably grow out of it. I mean, it's not like forever. I mean, for most people, not the serial killers we were discussing earlier, but I mean, it's just, But
I've been in a lot of shouting matches with people other than an ex-spouse.
How do you qualify a lot?
So
I've got one ex-spouse, my mother, and my sister. I think that's 100% of all my ever shouting matches.
So I would say, like, you get into a shouting match with a stranger.
No, I've never done that.
Yeah, to me that's that's psychopathic.
Yeah.
Why would you invest that amount of emotion into something that just happened?
Yeah.
Like that makes no sense to me.
I've been shouted at by strangers before to the point where I automatically assumed they were joking, because nothing had happened. And then it did take me a second to go, this person's in my backyard right now. Like the shit's about to go down. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. And in situations like that, I've made it worse. I think it was maybe once or twice ever, but I laughed each time, which did not help the situation. I was like, fucking really?
Success is about the survival of the fittest. I'm not concerned about losers.
I don't agree.
I'm staying in the middle. Personally.
I concur. I would definitely not go all the way to the left because I've spent too much time trying to drag people across the finish line. You do have to participate for your own stuff as well.
Before I do anything, I carefully consider the possible consequences. I would say mostly agree.
Not mostly as well.
There's still going to be some impulse that I'm going to go with some impulse.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I'm answering this from my present day.
Right. Yeah. We don't want to know if you were.
We're being 33.
We were all psychopaths when we were 25. Our brains
Oh,
aren't even
dude,
fucking
I
toned
was
yet.
definitely more grounded in my 20s.
You were more grounded?
Yeah, I was fucking married with taking care of my mom with 3 little
Oh,
kids
yeah.
at home, man. There wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
room in my day to go, we're not going to be grounded. My,
Right.
my off the rails was screaming at Tina for like bouncing a check or, you know, going to sleep too early, and I didn't get to see her for the 3 minutes I had available today. But that was my high octane moment.
Right. I just want to be loved, and I want everything to be okay.
Guess I'll go to a fucking Blockbuster again, you know. But yeah, pretty low grade.
I would be upset if my success came at someone else's expense. Agree, disagree, or whatever.
Nah, I right in the middle, maybe one to the right. I don't know.
Like if it happened, like if I wasn't aware that I
Yeah.
stepped on somebody,
Yeah,
I would feel bad
I would too.
because it wouldn't be something I would ever do on purpose.
Like you're in the break room having lunch with Bob. Dude, Bob's badass. High five. You're amazing. They're like, dude, Mark, you just got promoted. Great, Bob. You're fucking out of here. You're like,
Mhm.
what are you doing to Bob?
What happened? I don't plan anything very far in advance. Agree, disagree, middle.
Nah, a little more towards agree. I had to learn that skill set.
Yeah, same. Same.
I
Can't
was
fly by the seat of your pants all the time.
It was great for a really long time though, until you become the famous amongst your friends going, so you're gonna be like a fucking hour late again, you piece of shit.
Looking out for myself is my top priority.
Nah.
Mark's like, yeah, well, I don't have kids at home. They're all grown up.
Oh, I still gotta watch out for the kids. They're definitely well, retirement. Okay, so yeah, like exactly what you clicked on. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, at the end of the day,
Maybe busting tables when I'm 80. What the fuck am I
if I'm not
talking?
looking out for myself, then I'm no good to you, Dad.
I
So
concur.
I end up in the same kind of trouble time after time.
No, I find all new trouble.
Same.
Maybe
Yeah.
15 years ago, there's a good 5-year stretch. I would have been all the way to the right.
Yep.
That damn vagina
Uh-oh.
got me again.
So let's see your results. Here's a square test. You are 31.25.
Hey, we're normal?
Yeah. 31% sociopathic, 22 impulsive, which makes you 2.12% more psychopathic than the population average. Yeah, it's normal.
That's a pretty high number for being a sociopath, though. I mean,
Well, they're taking well, this is a psychopath. This is
scroll
a
down.
psychopathy. This
Scroll
is
down.
the psychopathy test too, right? So the psychopathy is up here, sociopaths here, and we're normal plus a little sociopath.
Okay, so these numbers add up to the quadrant we're looking at in this
Yes.
interesting squared chart.
Correct.
All right.
So if we were in the center, we would be,
Conveniently, with each square summed up in this nice little box on the bottom,
Yeah.
so it can just piss us off, I guess.
psychopaths are characterized by both the interpersonal manipulativeness
And
and
deviance.
callousness of
Dude.
sociopaths,
One pair of handcuffs. Jesus.
as well as
Christ.
the anger, disinhibited behavior, and emotional dysregulation of the impulsive personality. The combination of deviance, cunning, and aggression results in individuals who are truly among the most dangerous and volatile of people. Sociopaths are characterized by interpersonal manipulativeness and deviance, as well as egocentricity, callousness, and the lack of remorse or guilt. Sociopaths are capable of employing glibness and superficial charm to cunningly use people. but
Superficial.
Generally lack the impulsivity and overtly violent disposition of psychopaths and impulsive personalities. Impulsive personalities are characterized by an angry, disinhibited, and thoughtless attitude towards life, as well as a pattern of negative emotionality and emotional dysregulation. They frequently resort to bullying, intimidation, and social aggression when frustrated but lack the cunning manipulativeness of sociopaths or psychopaths. Normal individuals are characterized by low scores on both dimensions of the psychopathy spectrum, social deviance and impulsive aggression. However, please note that someone who is normal on the psychopathy spectrum may still have other personality maladaptations or generalized inclinations towards anger. So it
That's
doesn't mean you're
code for
perfect.
you would pass a cursory employment exam. Woohoo!
I love it when you take the test and it goes like,
Why is there a picture of Kevin Spacey on this thing?
that's my guy.
We immediately have to watch House of Cards after watching this. I think that's the thing.
And psychopath, which are used
Wow.
to refer to individuals who behave violently, aggressively, and selfishly. The media often applies these labels to serial
Maybe you're a
killers.
shitty parent. That's why your kid's a
Features of the
dick.
psychopath and
Spacey.
sociopath dominate the current descriptions of the antisocial style. It is characterized by the persistent and pervasive disregard for the needs and rights of others. Antisocial personality traits can often be seen already in early childhood. For example,
No shit.
in
That's
form of aggression
concerning
towards
immediately.
people and animals,
Even more so than the.
destruction of property,
Not the baby with the cat? What the fuck?
the violation of
That's a
rules.
real cat.
Yeah.
Childhood, antisocial personalities
All
usually
these pictures
present
were shared with you by the city of Santee.
others, and they tend to be
Yeah.
different to how their behavior affects other people.
Let's put a smile on it.
The antisocial
That was fucked up.
behaviors that can be observed, rather than thoughts or feelings that the therapist
Young Michael before he played hockey.
behaviors such as being indifferent to the interests of others, failure to obey the law,
Senator.
or fraud.
I love the outfit. Her dress. Was,
And manipulative, and rely or charm others to obtain money, power,
Eyes Wide
sex.
Shut. That was such a
Nine.
great movie.
People
Yeah.
with antisocial personality, and antisocial personalities can typically
Oh,
tolerate
now the picture makes more sense.
Many antisocials can be devious and charming, and good at manipulating others. The antisocial temperament is at root impulsive. Antisocial personality their true intentions for so long before they have to discharge their pent-up frustration or chase a new gratification such as sex, alcohol, gambling, fraud, and so on. Many antisocials have
I
trouble.
hate that he had to get all rapey. He was really good in that show.
First glance appear successful.
Oh, yeah.
Will typically
Oh,
follow as
Bateman.
a lot of
Yes,
antisocials
Bateman.
held in quick succession. The antisocial temperament is irritable and aggressive. Many engage in physical fights and may end up in prison. However, if the antisocial is a high IQ individual, one will typically see these same tendencies unfold in the domain of interpersonal manipulation instead. The antisocial is still irritable and aggressive, but they use these dark sensations as a catalyst to manipulate and defraud others, rather than fight them with their fists. Some antisocials also display a marked disregard for their own safety,
Nope.
along with that of
What's that
others.
show?
They engage in drug abuse, unsafe sex, or reckless driving. Despite the harm they cause, most antisocials do not feel remorse or guilt. In fact, many are constitutionally incapable of such emotions.
Full
They
story.
may
Cool story, bro.
horrible and adjust the behavior to give the impression that they regret what they have done, but inwardly they almost never do.
Not.
Antisocial individuals are cynical, callous, arrogant, and cocky. Some antisocials are also extremely intelligent and charming. Their combination of charm, recklessness, and indifference to others can create an extremely manipulative and potentially dangerous person. And, for reasons that are not fully understood, this charming but dangerous personality can often be extremely attractive to certain women.
Yep.
Whether they be blue-collar brawlers or white-collar fraudsters, many antisocials have scores of female fans and admirers, who often know full well that the antisocial is mad, bad, and dangerous to know.
Marquis de Sade.
The antisocial personality is noticeably more common in males than in females, with studies reporting the ratio to be somewhere between 1 to 3 and 1 to 5. In the history of psychology, most therapists have traditionally regarded antisocial personalities as untreatable. However, not everyone agrees, and some
Thanks,
therapists
Sigmund.
believe antisocial personalities to consider a broad range of actions and consequences before
I can
rushing in
fix him.
for attention.
Yep.
At any rate, almost everyone agrees
She's a lot
the
lizard.
antisocial style is one of the most difficult personalities to treat.
Well, shit. All right. So we're normal, Mark.
I don't believe it.
I went through this with John and Missy because John kept calling me maybe it was narcissist. I think we do the narcissist test. He's like, you're a narcissist. I said, I think you're throwing around a word that you don't understand. I'm not a narcissist. I said, if anything, I may have histrionics as an issue. Like I enjoy being the center of attention. There are things that go along with.
Thank you. I've had to use that word
with
a long
histrionics.
time. Yeah.
I said, but generally, no, I don't think I'm a narcissist. Maybe I do overinflate my own sense of self-worth to myself, or maybe I do it to others for effect. And then he was like, nah, you're a narcissist. So we took the narcissist.
I think he likes saying it.
Yeah. We took the narcissist test, and he scored a like 66% narcissist. And he's like, huh. And he agreed as we went. I said, you guys grade me and I'll grade me. That's how I want to do it. Question, you two grade me, I'll grade me. And we'll see what we think.
To be fair, having spent some time with John offline, I agree with that test.
Well, yeah. And it was really funny because we were in it the whole time and they were like, okay, well, what do you give yourself? I said, I would say 1. They're like, yeah, we would say 1 too. I'm like, okay. And I was like, I'll answer, then you guys tell me whether you agree or disagree with my assessment, because you get to assess me. We went through the whole damn thing, and then
I want to know the one question where they're like, get the fuck out of here. That's a 7. We're out of it.
They were like, John was like feeling defeated. He's like, man, yeah, I mean, according to this test, you're not. No, he goes, I scored myself here. I said, oh, I scored you actually the whole time too. You want to compare? And he was like, oh no, I'm a narcissist.
Oh no.
Yeah, I said, I know that it seems like I'm being because I'm because I'm cocky. That's not the same thing as being a narcissist. That's me going like, no, listen, guys, I understand what a narcissist is. I am not that. I'm intelligent enough that I did the work. They're like, see, that's what we mean right there. I'm like, somebody calling themselves intelligent is not narcissistic. It might be something else. It might be, uncouth. You might be a fucking dick. I'm not saying I'm not an asshole. I'm not a douchebag. I mean, I can absolutely be all those things. I'm not saying I'm like
douchebag's a little rough.
As the love of my life said. Well, in the beginning, I thought he was kind of an asshole, and I didn't want to like him. But then,
that's check the box. That's the first victory right there.
Right. And then she's like, then I just found out he was a total piece of shit.
Total what?
Total piece of shit. And she didn't mean to say it like that. She was trying to think of another way, but everything was coming out rapid fire. And I didn't stop her. I just wanted to own it because it was so awkward.
Total.
John's like, oh my God, did you just call him a total piece of shit? I'm so happy right now.
I can see John's face. And then he leaned back like this. The teeth came out and he did one of these.
So she's horrified. I can see her like looking at me like on the screen.
He did one of these. He has to come down to the table like he's praying a little bit, like, oh my God, I can't fucking do this.
She's trying to get my attention, like, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. I was like, no, it's good. Just go with your instinct. Total piece of shit is fine.
Total piece of shit.
She's like, no, it's okay, fine. John's like, oh my God, I'm so happy right now. And he goes, at the same time though, I feel so bad. I can't believe you just called your man a total piece of shit in front of everybody. And I was just like, oh, this is so awkward. It's so good. Oh, So even after
You're just gonna have to use that guilt to fuck her someplace uncomfortable.
the back of a Volkswagen.
We nailed it. Oh, Affleck, you genius.
So she was like, she goes, "Hey, I'm sorry." I'm like, "No, don't apologize. Look,
You're still laughing about it. Who the fuck needs to apologize? You're
I'm like,
barely talk right now.
the fun part of the show is unscripted, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen next. And that's a perfect example of a fucking train wreck. That I'm not upset about it. I said, I'm assuming you don't think I'm a total piece of shit, because that now is
Cacophony of fucking apologies pretty much covered that already.
that's reflecting on you. Like, so you're into that? You like guys who are
Oh my god, that's one of those. That kind of says more about you.
I saw the wheels turning. I said, why do you think I'm always blushing? I make myself blush because I will get ahead of myself, and I'll instinctually say the wrong thing before I process it. And I'm like, oh no. And the trick is just own it. Don't apologize. It's the same way that I tell a joke. If I tell a joke and it falls short, it's not a bad joke. You just didn't understand it. Then I'll just repeat the punchline. And then I'll offer to explain the premise, and I'll repeat the punchline again, and then I'll throw in a tag. And then let's see. And you're just going to grow tired or uncomfortable with me.
Like, wow, that's a serious commitment you've got there to see that thing through.
At some point, the 9th time I tell you the fucking joke, you're going to laugh because you just want me to go away.
Fucking make it stop, yeah.
And then that's fine, because you know what? I got to laugh.
That's when you start explaining one sympathy chuckle could have left you with so much more free time.
What the fuck are you going to the mall at midnight?
Round one, it's the arcade. It's open like
Yeah.
Like a game release party.
A half hour? 20 minutes? Yeah. I think Mark has to go to bed at some point.
Yeah, I gotta work in the morning.
So I saw an interview with Jordan Peterson and the British guy. Who's the British guy?
Ryan Rose.
Piers Morgan.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Well, so this is amazing.
He's so annoying.
He is. He's very progressive. He's very apologetic.
I don't care about his point of view. It's just him personally. He's fucking annoying.
So Piers Morgan does this long interview, and he's
Have you heard of Executive Order 167?
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna cue it up.
So it could completely upend the
Skip.
well, psychology, Dr. Jordan.
Here we go. So he's doing like a tease. He's like, "Hey, I did this this detailed, like, long interview with Jordan Peterson. I'm gonna show you guys a little tease of it." And in the tease, I mean, I don't know what else he needs to show. Jordan fed some truth to Pierce, the tree hugging fucking wacko, that he was just literally stunned. He could not react or respond because it was just pure logic. And to me, this is one of the more telling things that I've seen, aside from people yelling, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." This was better than that, and probably a little more frightening.
Jordan Peterson is one of the world's most fascinating and controversial intellectuals. His books sell by the boatload. His talks pack theatres across the globe. Millions watch him online. When he speaks, people listen. I interviewed him earlier today at length, and we'll air most of that conversation next week. But on the day that Putin threatened nuclear war on the West, I had to ask Jordan Peterson for his analysis on the war in Ukraine. His response was as grave as it was startling. That's the world's most famous psychologist, and began by asking for his view on Vladimir Putin as a man.
Well, he's a lot more like everybody else than anyone.
Jordan Peterson leaves Piers Morgan in stunned silence in his astonishing analysis of Vladimir Putin and the Ukrainian war. We're going to react to Peterson's profound insights.
This guy's really annoying, so I'm gonna try and skip him. The guy who's yelling.
We're going
Heard.
to see precisely what's really happening with Ukraine, and make sure to stick with me at the very end of this video when we'll find out how Peterson expects all of this to end. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. It's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better.
Steve.
Right, gang, let's dive right in here.
Well, he's a lot more like everybody else than anyone thinks. You know, the notion that he's Hitler or Stalin, that's just foolish. I don't see any evidence for that at all. I mean, first of all, Hitler and Stalin were very singular types, and there's a bit of Hitler and Stalin in everyone. So, you know, there's some truth in that. Maybe there's more in the typical Russian
A
leader
bit of
than
Hitler
normal.
in everyone? Really?
There's more than a bit.
Really?
Look at that serious.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, why would have Nazism spread the way it did? You know, people think, well, that's all top down. It's not top down. There's a part of people that are all these people who informed on Kate Burblesing.
Well, didn't Goebbels say that the way to get vast numbers of people to go along with what you want to do is to terrify them?
Yeah, well, that you could do
hold
that.
a grip of terror over them.
Oh, yeah, but
And in a way, that's what Putin's now doing with the Russian people, where he's going back now into a position of they're all trying to get us, they want to attack us, they want to take us over. He's terrifying his people to rally support for what at the moment is a conflict he has started, which is not going the way he assumed.
well, the most, what would you say, the wisest commentators on totalitarian states, like Solzhenitsyn, and many psychological commentators, Jung was a good example of that, made a very straightforward case that you can't have a totalitarian state unless every single person is willing to lie about everything all the time. And you can think about that as top down because the leaders lie too. And they also enforce punishments if you don't lie. But then you can also think about it. The totalitarian spirit is replicated at every level of the society. And so in a truly totalitarian state, husbands lie to their wives and parents lie to their children. And the totalitarian state is actually the grip of the lie. And so, and people will certainly go along with that. I mean we're seeing that emerge here with cancel culture. It's like lie or else.
All right, that was fascinating. First, note Peterson's assessment about Putin. How different it is from anything you hear on CNN or even Fox for that matter. For Peterson, Putin is a lot more like anyone else than any of these media types think. He's not a Hitler. He's not Stalin. So right there, all these...
We're going to find out this winter. Well, I know what I would do in his shoes. I'd wait till the first cold snap and shut off the taps.
Right.
Well, of course he's going to do that.
He's got the control over the energy.
Of course he's going to do that. He's already warned the West with his insistence that maintenance problems were necessary and the pipelines had to be shut down.
Do you think he will use a nuclear weapon?
If necessary, he'll use a tactical battlefield weapon.
Even if it starts World War III?
It won't. Probably.
Why? Because we wouldn't respond?
What's in it for us?
If you let him do it and get away with it, where does that end? Then you are into a Hitler analogy.
Look, there's you can get yourself in a situation, no problem, where there's no good outcome. We're trying to do that right now on every front we can possibly imagine. We can easily get ourselves in a situation where it's hell this way and hell that way. That's highly probable.
Well, should the Ukrainians give the Russians anything? When I was over there recently interviewing President Zelensky, what I was struck by was everybody I met in Kyiv, the capital city, were utterly resolute. Don't give them an inch of our land.
Yeah, well, I can't speak to that because I don't know what the preconditions for peace might be. But I do know that naive notions that the Russians are going to lose somehow, or that we're going to win, I just don't understand. I don't understand that. Well, what do you mean we're going to win? What are we going to win here exactly?
All right, so you'll notice as I...
She insisted that she couldn't be the serial killer police had been looking for because she was female.
Morgan can't even comprehend.
We can't win against Vladimir Putin anyways because you cannot win against someone you cannot say no to. Period. And we can't say no to Putin because we sold our soul for his oil and gas.
You cannot win against someone you can't say no to. Noam Chomsky recently stated that when it came...
Were interviewed by reporters
I'm sorry, but his lilting lisp irritates me. I want to hear the intellectual talk. I mean, this guy's fine. I watched his show, but he played a really good trick of not letting you know that that's what the soundbite you were getting into was to watch him talk for fucking 10 minutes over a 5-minute soundbite. But
sold our soul for his oil and gas. And we did that to elevate our moral stature in relationship to saving the planet. And so here we are, facing a very dire winter, hoisted on the petard of our own foolishness and moral presumption. We're saving the planet. We'll see. I don't think so. It doesn't look like it to me. And this is the most catastrophic issue here. Assuming that we're facing an environmental crisis of planetary proportions, which is not something I buy, by the way. Assuming we are, well, then I would imagine that you would put in place measures that would ameliorate that problem instead of exacerbating it. But all the measures you're putting in place are actually making the environmental problem worse. So how is that even vaguely acceptable? And I look at that and I think, oh, I see. It's just like George Orwell said about middle-class socialists 50 years ago. It's not that you love the planet, it's that you hate humanity. So, well, have at her, boys and girls, and we'll see what happens this winter. And it's very terrifying to me.
It is.
I especially hear it, because your energy prices have gone way out of control, and that's going to hurt a lot of poor people, and certainly around the world as well. The World Bank already estimated that we've put 350 million people into what they call food insecurity. 350 million. That's 3 times as many as the communists managed to kill. Maybe we can manage that in a winter. But the planet has too many people on it anyway, so, that's just poor people.
Do you own?
Yep. It all has this kind of ring, this like buzz expression of all by design. You don't get to a place like this in the world on accident.
Nope.
With so many opportunities to turn left instead of right, with 10 million people going, I don't know if I do that. It's just,
yeah.
There's just enough handshakes going around the world to go, hey man, bet on this cash, bet on your career, bet on your future, and fuck your neighbor, and then that's how you're going to cross the finish line. And even the noblest of souls are going, all right.
So there's this false assumption that has permeated the West, which is that those who have the money, those who control the money, have the power. And the US has always been strong enough financially, controlling the puppet strings of the rest of the countries, that we know that when push comes to shove and things start to go really bad, we've always had the power to go hit the brakes, be like, okay, now you must do what we say. We took it this far, we let it go, it didn't work out, now everybody listen to us or else. And then they do. What we've missed over the last decade is that it's not those who have the military might even, or have the money even, who have the power. It's those who control the energy and the food. They control the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we have systematically given away all of the advances that we made with Trump as president, being energy independent for the first time, and then being a contributor to energy.
I want to drill down on that. I want to drill down on the Trump scenario when it comes to energy and the economy. Okay, because the positive impact he had on both of those things was so over the top by any normal sense of reason. It should have been impossible. Capitalism cycles take time.
It was only impossible based on the lies that we were that were perpetuated
Yeah.
that described your denominator.
So all he really did was take the governors off the truck. And we were allowed to finally do what we're capable of doing. Oh my goodness. What happened?
Look what happens. Look at the
And
positive contribution you have to the universe when you
Yeah.
just do what you know how to do.
I mean, when we took all of those regulations off that were applied to no other country on the planet,
Right.
That's just one example, not to berate a point, but it's just like we could have done that at any fucking time. So, and by all points, at least in my opinion, no one, and you want to talk about the deep state or the bureaucracy or whatever you want to fucking call these people, by no counts was that dude ever supposed to get in office.
Right.
Or he was, and this is just perpetuating a
This is how they speed up the
teeter-totter cycle.
Right.
That's kind of leading to a certain direction. But I feel at times that there's been a plan and effect, by design, like I was saying before. And every now and then there's enough of a group of people within the bureaucracy that aren't on that boat that just get enough of a nugget of control of something to jerk the wheel to the left, and then it's not on the track for a while.
Right.
And in my most optimistic side of things, I think Trump was one of those guys that was able to get in there and jerk the wheel to the left. Kennedy, Jack Kennedy was one of them. Got in there and grew a conscience all of a sudden and fucking jerked the wheel to the left. They're like, hey, you're a bought and paid guy. You're one of us. And he's like, I changed my mind. Yeah, I get to do that. Lincoln, same shit. Bought and paid one of them. Got into office and went, I was just kidding. Jerked the wheel to the left. And then, what happened? People, kept. And there we go. So, I mean, but now
Eisenhower's speech.
Yeah.
I mean,
talk about riding it to the fucking end,
the general.
White.
He was the man who was leading the force that he didn't realize like how dangerous that force was until he got to the other side of it and was like, wait, hold on.
Well, there's a lot wrapped up in that majestic question, but it's just there's that whole thing. But it's just like you look at like what went on and way the banks have worked in the world over generations. And did Germany lose World War II? I don't think so. Who was the compatriots really of Nazi Germany? It was us. It wasn't the United States citizens, but it was our government. It was a lot of people in higher economic power in this country.
Yeah,
it was England, Belgium, Shell Oil. I love to gas up there. They're so nice when I go there. Did you know it was a prerequisite to be on the senior leadership board of Shell Oil, a London-based company, that you had to be a part of the Nazi party to sit at that table? And it's just like, fuck Hugo Boss and Volkswagen. At least those were German companies. Fanta, at least that's a fucking German company. What the fuck is Shell Oil? Why was there a picture of Adolf Hitler behind Henry Ford's desk as the icon? Why was that guy Time Magazine's Man of the Year 2 years in a row before we found out about the Jews? There's like plenty of people on the inside knew about that shit. And when it all came out, Congress still had to pass a law to make Americans to de-invest their money in the Nazi war effort because Americans were banking off of Germany's success. Yeah, I know they're murdering people, but God, the dividends are great.
Operation Paperclip,
dude. And
we have to disband them. Okay, well, all except for these guys. We need NASA.
All of them. 90% went here, 10% to Russia as some fucking token so they could actually have a space race. And yes, that's exactly who started NASA. Who's the inner workings of the government and the operational structure of the United Nations? Fucking Nazis. They weren't Germans, but they were Nazis, that fucking Belgian prince and all his shit. So the model for the future global government, generationally developed within by the former fascists. This country, Prescott Bush, George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., all a part of the same thing.
National pride.
Yeah. Prescott Bush almost got arrested while being a senator for leading a coup against FDR to turn America into an authoritarian state. Only got outed by one fucking brigadier general fucking hero Marine that went, I ain't going along with this. They couldn't get enough evidence. Yeah, there's trials. Congress, the people went to prison for treason, got executed for treason. Prescott Bush, ringleader, not enough evidence to bring him to fucking trial or to convict him rather.
Really?
And then that dude's son and grandson both become president. He's got another grandson becomes the governor. You know, it's just like, Jesus Christ. We're not even talking about the fucking circle that surrounded Kennedy and his ring. All those guys are OSI, which is the bench that led to the CIA.
Yep.
Which is really built upon the association between Germany and the United States. So it's just like, and again, that majestic question. But it's just like
that new world order.
And it's like the bankers that wanted that shit to happen. Boom. I mean, the Germans didn't lose World War II. They sacrificed their population because they didn't give a shit. And those people that really cared about winning World War II, that were the Germans, allied with the bankers, they just came here. And through an internal coup with not even a fucking shot fired until they killed Kennedy, took over this fucking government. And internally, we fought that for a long time. And then, boom. And I really think that Roswell shit, all that stuff, there's so much of that is bullshit. There's maybe a little hint of truth here and there. But it's like, it was clear the Germans had access to that technology before they ever fucking set foot over here.
Yep.
There's going to be that tech is a big part of the success of this country and all in the long run, a lot of countries, but for this one in particular. And then here we are, though, moving toward a global government. Those fucking Nazis spread out all over the fucking globe running the important shit. You know, Bill Gates, same thing. His family stretches all the way back to that shit too. The Lucis Trust and fucking
isn't he like Rothschild? Isn't he related?
I don't know what his bloodline connection is, because a lot of times you hear stuff like that, and I haven't done enough research.
Maybe Melinda Gates. But yeah, they're all interconnected.
But his parents got mega wealthy on supporting what was previously was the company that led to Planned Parenthood. The company was called, prior to Planned Parenthood, was called the Lucis Trust, which essentially is a race purification society.
Oh yeah, they're all for eugenics.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's trust dedicated to the establishment of a new and better way of life for everyone in the world, based on the fulfillment of the divine plan of humanity. Its educational activities promote recognition and practice of the spiritual principles and values upon which a stable and interdependent world society may be based.
That's San Francisco, got its start there, inspired Hitler. Literally, that is what inspired Hitler for his program in Germany. Lucis Trust, based out of Germany, absorbs Planned Parenthood, or somehow were commingled, which was a Luciferian organization. Then they changed their name to Planned Parenthood, and they changed it. I think they've changed it a few different times over the years, but ultimately that was it. It's a socialist movement for race purification. That's why it's on the books up until
Alice Bailey. Oh shit.
Until very recently. You can call Planned Parenthood and give donations to help women's health and abortions and make it available for people at no cost. And you can specify that you only want it available for Black babies. And they will go, we'll check your box. They got them. I saw the video footage myself, or the audio footage, where they're on the phone and graciously accept the donation and say, yeah, that's okay.
Are you serious?
I fucking kid you not. That's the whole deal. And that's where I think there's some valuable services that an organization like Planned Parenthood provides. And I can imagine there's a lot of people that think about some of those services in a humanitarian way, that invest their time there as a pseudo nonprofit organization to help women. I think there should be a new organization that provides those services, because Planned Parenthood is corrupt to its fucking core. So I'm not necessarily against a lot of the services they provide, but I am against the organization as a whole. But it's a part of of the piece of the pie with these people. They're looking to control the planet. It's, I mean, and I'm sure in some sick, twisted mind somewhere, globalization is some utopian ideal somewhere where people think that that's going to be the better way to go, and there's acceptable losses along the way. But every time these fucking sycophants get in charge of a few different countries and they're going to choose their acceptable losses, we end up in a worldwide conflict and millions of people die. So not a solid plan, not a fan. But that's us. And that's when, like, I think you look at the Middle East and they say the United States is the great Satan.
Yeah.
It's because we are, or at least the people that we've let run this place for the last 50 to 80 years has made it.
Worship of was a Satanism is actually when you worship yourself above all others.
Oh, in the satanic Bible notion of things, which is kind of
like
a comical.
Levian Satanism is worshiping yourself or elevating yourself above anybody, anything, or anyone else.
Yeah, that book is kind of a piece of the propaganda and distraction. But I mean, it's like really Luciferians, like you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier when you were talking about, you said crime or sin or something relating to theft. You know, there's only one sin in the Luciferian belief system.
What's that?
Theft. You can steal someone's life. You can steal their possessions through some form of dishonesty. You can steal this or that. You can steal someone's wife or home or car, you know, whatever. It all comes down to that. And that's, I'm sure in some regard, there's like even some like nod of respect you can put to that if they're trying to not do those things. But at the same point, I don't know, I'm jumping into a rabbit hole. But that being said, these people have been working on this shit for a long time. This is generational plotting. And it's something I would have thought was obscene until you think about the philosophy and how the mindset of the Chinese people work. And like the Chinese will throw themselves at a goal 4 generations looking for an outcome 200 years down the road for their country. And it's, you know, what's that joke? It's like anytime you want to succeed at a goal, all you have to do is commit to slavery, you know, just waste worthless, you know, lives over and over and over again until you achieve your goal. Again, I've heard some like comedians talk about that or something, but the Chinese literally believe that. And so when they look about transplant spies they send to the United States and don't expect to get a seed of information from for 30 years after arrival, and that's how we find out Nancy Pelosi's fucking driver and her butler were Chinese spies. And there's like, well, these guys have been there for fucking 15 years, you know.
They say that every Chinese nationalist, every one of them is a spy, because it's indoctrinated into them that you are the eyes and the ears of the republic, and no matter where you are, you can be called into action at any point to just tell us what you saw, observe, report, and that, you know, the millions of Chinese nationalists who are here going to college, here stealing intellectual property, here getting people professors and the educated to take their sabbaticals and go to China and teach them what they know.
And
it's all
live high on the hog like being an American with their tax-free dollars, because the United States if you buy real estate in the United States with your capital from China, it works as a tax shelter. So during the height of the recession, when I lived in Orange County, which was the #1 target for Chinese people looking to buy real estate soared through the fucking roof. There was no depression of real estate values in Irvine, you know, for example, but it was all that Chinese money coming in and swooping up homes. So you're 100% right. And I think there's I can't remember her name, but there's a female congresswoman in Colorado, and she's a Chinese immigrant. And she's said a lot of what you just said, and trying to wake people up and go, hey, do you need to understand that the shit we're hearing right now that our government is saying, this is how it started in China.
Right.
Remember, China used to be a democracy. That was our ally during World War II.
Right.
So
yeah, I remember that congressperson. I heard about her. And
listened to a few of her lectures, and she's
like
thought provoking.
She's like, this is bad. This is bad. What do you think about the newly elected first female prime minister for Italy?
I heard a little bit about her just prior to her actually getting elected. She was expected to win by quite a bit, if I remember right. If I remember right, she was compared to Trump based on her policies.
I'll be done.
If I understand right, she has an Italy first, a nationalist mindset.
Right, they're calling her a Nazi. They're calling because she's like they don't get to take our identity away from us.
She's
anti-woke
socialist, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah, she's conservative. She's like conservative means that we protect who we are and we don't let other people determine how we're labeled, how we're controlled, and how we are manipulated into being the perfect consumer for them.
Yeah.
How we're manipulated into just being the money that we spend. You're no longer allowed to be a man or a woman or a mother or a father. They want you to be parent one, parent two. They want to take away your identity so then they can make you into the perfect consumer. So then you just do what you're told to do. You buy what you're told to buy, and they don't want to hear from you otherwise. It's just like, that's bullshit. Like,
Yeah, she's anti-European Union, right? I'm trying to remember. Okay.
Yeah, I think they had her come out and talk at CPAC, which is crazy because I saw a glimpse of it. She was doing she did a speech at CPAC when she did it in English. I don't know if she's bilingual or not, but she did it as somebody who's like, guys, wake up. Look at what they've been doing. Look at what the goal is. Do not accept it. Do not, because all you have to do is
nothing, and they'll succeed.
Right. Well, it's like Peterson always points out with Solzhenitsyn, who was a Gulag archipelago guy who wound up in the Gulag during World War II in Russia, and he didn't know how he got there. So his book that he wrote is about, well, the daily life being in a fucking Gulag, which is apparently not good. It's a shitty fucking way to exist.
It sounds like that
concentration camp
for meaning.
Yes. Frankel. So he basically went back, he analyzed his life. He's like, I don't know how I got here. When did I make the decision that led me to be an enemy of the state and in prison? Because I don't recall that ever happening. And what he discovered was he went along with everything. It wasn't that he did anything to get there. He said he did nothing to stay out of it. And just like everybody else who perpetuated the lie, husbands lie to the wives, parents lie to the children. Everybody lies that this is okay. This is what we want. This is good. Everyone, this is good. Because you don't want to be the tallest poppy. You're the tallest poppy, you get your head cut off. So you perpetuate the lie. And so what Solzhenitsyn figured out was, it was his fear and his inability to just tell the truth and say, no, this is not what I believe. No, this is not acceptable. Yes, you are killing people. Yes, this is tyranny. When he finally realized that his just inability to tell the truth is what led him to imprisonment, he realized that all it takes in a society is for one person to be willing to stand up and tell the truth and not perpetuate the lie, and then it takes it apart at its seams. Because as soon as one person says, wait, this is wrong, this is not what we believe in, and this is not how we are, and you are murdering people, and then everyone else goes, yeah, this is wrong. And then as soon as that wave hits, you're just as safe within that wave of truth as you thought you were under that wave of lies and bullshit.
Yeah.
And There's a lot to it, and that's I think the reckoning,
I think you're doing a good summary right there. You're explaining it really well.
the reckoning that we that we're dealing with right now, and where the noise is coming from, is all the bullshit that doesn't matter, trans this and that. And I got in an argument with my daughter who's pro-trans, and I said, listen, tell your friends to be careful, because the time is coming that if they keep chirping, they keep making noise, they're going to disappear. Understand that that group of people and this group of insecure young people are being used to make enough noise in order to distract people from the truth and what's really going on around us. I said, and here's the thing, most people do not give a fuck about what you want to do with your life. They don't. Nobody cares. Just go do your thing. You want to chop your tits off, go do it. We don't care. Just go do your thing.
And that distraction that they're looking to create,
just be quiet.
Isn't,
we don't care.
It has nothing to do with sexuality or people's individual choices. It's really just to waste enough people's mental time that they don't pay attention to some more important things.
That's
that are
exactly it. That's
so
exactly
the reality is, like when you think about like the feminist movement, although there's a few things here or there that might have some nice value, overall as a whole, that movement, just like this, is a distraction to keep people divided, have their time wasted. Because like, if you think of these plans and this by design idea, if their success really hinges on that everyone remains distracted long enough that by the time they figure it out, they're too fucking old to do anything about it.
Yep.
Every minute they waste of your life is just a minute in the success bucket that they're trying to go to. And if you broaden your perspective to realize that their goals they span more than one generation. There's no one single president or Putin or whomever sitting around that's going, I'm going to see victory today. No, man, they're sowing deep seeds. They're looking 30, 100 years out for where the finish line really is.
Yeah.
All they got to do is waste your time, your kids' time, your grandkids' time, your parents, all their times that are wasted long enough, and they throw enough shit at you to keep you divided at home. Do you realize it's in every state, not just here, but it happens here in Texas as well. There's an incentive for judges to make sure divorce happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They get compensated by the federal government. Yeah.
The account that funds retirement for the judges all across this country is a mirror fund. There are deposits made into that account in the equal amount of your child support. So the more child support you pay, the more that fund grows to secure retirement for the judges in each state of the union. How is that a fucking thing? Now, if you wanted to say that funds got diverted because clearly people that have to process child support and work in those offices and do those jobs have to get paid, yeah, what the fuck does that have to do with a judge's retirement? I'll tell you what, the number one thing that leads to successful social programming is parents not being together in the home, so those kids don't trust either parents just long enough, waste enough of those kids' time that they trust the state longer. So that means you took a 12-year-old and they don't circle back to trusting mom and dad until they're 26. They've been voting for 8 years. And then to assume they absorb some kind of real fucking clue, because most of these kids aren't going to have one or either parent spend time with them, because they're going to be distracted by money or now fucking whatever their other life crisis is trying to survive. That's when you get a 40-year-old kid in therapy with their parents that are 67. Fuck, they've done it. They've wasted enough of the time. The people have remained complacent. That's the number one thing. That's what's changed in this country since the magic 50s that people talk about. It's not that there really was that much more money in the 50s. Well, maybe there was. Economically, there clearly was. But it's just the fact that you spent less. You were together more. You were invested at home and your family together. So
I had to figure out in the last 5 years how to make twice as much so I can be poor in two places.
Absolutely. I had to get, I went through shit too. Yeah.
We know, right?
It's gnarly.
So we know, but here's the thing. Most people aren't like us, Mark.
I know.
Most people don't rise above and battle. Most people aren't stubborn enough and confident enough in their capacity to overcome. So
I think the stubborn enough was good, because I was willing to die on that line.
same.
Like I had this philosophy.
Fuck you.
I used to tell my friends that they're like, how are you doing this? And I'm living in the red. They're like, what does that mean? More caffeine, work more hours.
Yep.
Like what, but what does that mean? How long do you do that? I don't know. It's been like 7 years. They're like,
Right.
what do you mean 7 years straight? Like that,
Right.
you don't even count on the fact you're going to be alive in 30 days.
Right.
Every
Right.
decision you make is to get to that next place so you can take care of it.
100%. 100%.
And they're like, dude, that makes no sense. And I'm just like, what do you mean? It's like, well, what are you gonna do for this? What are you gonna do for that? I'll figure that out when I get there. But you know what, right now,
If I get there.
I got 3 days a week with my kids. They're like,
Right.
you haven't slept in your apartment for 6 days. And I don't care.
Doesn't
My
matter.
mom's floor is fine.
Yep.
But I got to see my kids. My kids aren't wondering where their dad is. My kids don't wonder if he cares about them. They
Right.
wish I was there more than I am. But you know what? I was there 10 times more than my dad was. And my
I'm
dad
earning
fucking
my
tried.
50. I'm earning my 57 hours. Yeah, that was Friday to Sunday. I'm earning my 57 hours.
Mhm.
And I'm going to appreciate my 57 hours, because I didn't realize I took it for granted before. I didn't realize until someone was empowered to take it away from me on a whim.
Mhm.
Take it away.
I was fortunate because it could have been worse. Like, my ex was not a saint by any means, but neither was I. But that being said, she didn't make things easy, but she definitely could have made things worse than they were.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But you know what? I got a really cool, my middle daughter Kaya sent me a really cool meme the other day. I think it was just yesterday. And she was like, even though my dad didn't have sons, because of the way he raised me, I still know what it is to be a man.
Nice.
Or what essentially it was to say that she understood what a man was supposed to be. Hold
Yeah.
on. I got it right. I want to read it because it really made my day.
We're gonna end with that. I've got a.
There you go. Shout out to my dad for teaching me how to be a man, even though I'm his daughter. That's it. She was a little more succinct. What she said.
Amen. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you for sharing some truth. It is uncanny how
Dude.
similar we are.
It is.
It's uncanny. It's bizarre. This is why we were alpha in different nerd pools.
Oh yeah.
there wasn't enough space to coexist. But thought-provoking.
I migrated late.
Lucis Trust, dude, is all there, guys. Check it out, lucistrust.org. It's the whole history of the organization. It's there. There's so much truth out there if you care enough to look at it. But here's I think what it boils down to is, if you love your family, you love your country for what it could be, and you love your fellow Americans for who they want to be, then don't let the nationalists, and don't let the New World Order, and don't let the globalists push you around, because they know that they can't do it without your consent. They can't. Consent is equal to quiet. Like Solzhenitsyn said, not telling the truth is what led to the tyranny that killed 100 million people. All it took was for one person to tell the truth, and it changes the outcome. They know they can't do it without your consent, but you don't realize you're giving consent by your no vote, and I don't understand it, and it's too troubling, and it's not worth it, and blah, 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 blah. That's consent. It literally takes this. Hey, put on a mask. Go fuck yourself. There you go. That's it. It doesn't take it doesn't take arms. It doesn't take weapons. It doesn't take guns and bullets. It takes dissent. It takes no, fuck you, not doing it. Hey, we're going to invest your money here. No, fuck you, not doing it. All you have to say is no. Status quo is where the danger is. Status quo is where bad things happen. They need your consent to come with, well, I don't really notice any different in my lifestyle. That's your consent. There's nothing wrong with saying no. It does not take bullets to say no. They know that the power goes away as soon as people start to wake up, and people are starting to wake up, and the left is starting to wake up. A lot of people are like, wait, this is not what I signed up for.
Absolutely.
I've been ignoring this for years. And they're like, wait, what? This is what I believe in? I don't believe in that. Fuck you guys. You get enough of that noise and it thwarts them. So it's been something that's been going on since 1915 for sure. Go watch the what's the spy movie? The Kingsman. Go watch the new Kingsman. It'll give you from World War I forward the plan. It'll give it to you in an action movie. It will give you the very specifics of everyone involved who knew exactly what the goal was in a movie. You think that people put out movies on accident? You think that there's not something that you're supposed to learn from it?
Yeah, there's the psychology of that is, and there's this thought process is, so sometimes like they put movies out and then 5 or 10 years later something similar happens in society.
Yeah.
Somehow it's more palpable.
Right. You can tolerate it. Yeah, I've been there. This seems familiar.
You had an opportunity to digest it. Like what was it? The Outbreak and Contagion, all the plague movies that came out in the
all the apocalypse, zombie apocalypse, power grid going down.
Yeah.
The Margaret Atwood's stories. It's all there to get you ready for it.
When you talk about, I want to throw this to you real quick, and I'll text this over to you so you have the link as well. There is a movie. It will cost you less than $2. It is on Amazon Prime. It is a documentary. It's called The American Media and the Second Assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Looks like that.
I'll check it out tonight.
And it walks through how the media was complicit in the cover-up of Kennedy's assassination. It's an overarching thing that will show you about the social programming that's been in the works since prior to Kennedy's assassination. It hasn't stopped yet. But it's fascinating and it's disturbing at the same time. But it speaks to, in bullet points, a lot of what you were just talking about.
That's awesome. I've got to take my son somewhere because it's 11 o'clock at night. So no.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed because it's hours ahead.
1 o'clock in the morning. So listen, don't give your consent. Give your dissent. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. If your reaction is this doesn't feel right, say no. It doesn't take long. People are not they're not prepared to defend their ideals to the death. They're not. It takes very little pushback in life. Hey, excuse me, sir. Can you put on a mask? No. Keep walking. The things that have gone away after they began were because people got wise to it and said, you know, no, we're not fucking doing this again. We're on to you. And they're like, hey, guess what, everybody? You're right. This is shenanigans and bullshit. We're sorry. It's over. You're right. COVID's over. COVID's over. And then they test it every now and then. They're like, another strain. Anybody scared enough? Another booster. Anyone want to do it? No, they're not buying it this time.
Yeah, that's a test. How long can we drag it out? How long can we do it next time?
Right. And here's the answer. If you want your way of life to be your way of life, then the answer is no. Conservatism is not about oppression and suppression. Conservatism is about to conserve your way of life for you and your family today and now and forever.
Yeah, make you the freedom to make your own choices.
There's no group of people that you have put into power to make those decisions on your behalf. And even our conservatives are pretty fucking socialist. The whole entity of government is pretty fucking awful. It really is. It's become this overarching huge mess. And I don't think we're not going to get rid of it anytime soon. But if you want to control, all you have to do is say no. Be willing to stand up. It's not hard. Look at Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. They have been the bane of the Democrats' fucking existence because they've controlled the House, the Senate, and they have the presidency, and they can't get shit passed because those two go, no, we're not up with the agenda. Those are just two people. Those are two people who say no. Nope, that's not what I promised my constituents. I'm not doing that. And they're like, fuck, we can't kill them. What do we do? Consistently, two people have gotten in the way of bad decision making on behalf of their party.
You know, it is interesting through the social programming of and the growth of social media. It's clearly a algorithm metric to be measured against society to see how successful pick their agenda item might be. But at the same time, it's resulted in more people voting than they have in history. So,
Yeah,
double-edged sword.
it's okay, sheeple. It's not over until it's over, right?
Mhm.
So
And it's okay to change your mind on something.
every time we throw a little wrench into their works, it throws them off by another 15 years. I can show you guys next time papers that I found, scholastic papers from those who support the liberal world order, all that bullshit, who went, uh-oh, we fucked up somewhere where the United States elected Trump. Like, we messed up. All the papers from the colleges are like, we need to figure out where we fucked up because we were on a roll. And that's why they doubled down and said, if we get control again, we have to go 10 times harder than we ever have because we don't have the luxury of time, because they just proved that they can throw an outsider into the middle of it who can disrupt 40 years worth of work. And they said he just disrupted 40 years worth of work because he stood up and said, no, fuck you guys. Like, go away. We're not doing this. And they're like, no, no. He disrupted the apple cart.
Yep.
They know it. And they're like, this has set us back so far. If we don't push double time, triple time, when we have the opportunity next, we're never going to catch back up. That's what they've been trying to do, is catch back up. And it's so extreme because we see it. The lies are so obvious. Like there's not enough time. They can't slow play like they have been. They've been slow playing you so you don't pay attention and nobody notices what's going on. You know, no one can really see it. They're very subtle. They're like, we don't have a choice, guys. We literally, if we don't push this, we're never going to get it.
And that's how you end up with actual Democrats going, dude, we're out. I'm not a part of this party.
Right.
Literal party, not just the party. But it's just, it's getting weird out there.
It is beyond weird. Beyond. So that's the show. I appreciate you, my friend.
You too, brother.
Thank you for the stimulating conversation and frightening concepts. I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that video tonight.
It's fascinating, and it's actually one of the main star of the show that's interviewed is the actual attorney that Kevin Costner plays in the JFK.
Nice.
But
nice.
The real guy.
The first time I watched Zeitgeist, I was like floored.
Yeah, I've cycled through that a couple times. It's been years since I've seen it. I think there's a part deux. You know, I got it.
Part
like,
yeah. But
yeah.
it's a good introduction to all of this stuff. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it is.
Oh no.
I concur.
All
Before
right,
we rabbit hole again, we wish you it off.
All right. Love one another, love yourselves, and hey, just say fucking no. Or as rule number 10, Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life. It is tell the truth, or at least don't lie.
Love that one. Yeah.
So,
and if you don't know, it's okay. Just ask some questions.
Try to tell the truth.
Criticizing the answers you get.
Don't lie. All right. Have a good night.
Late.
See you, buddy.
Listener discretion is advised. These discussions of murder, rape, torture,